Hey there world, I'm the Courageous Goldfish, and today, please bear with me, I'm trying to speedrun this before the sun sets, and the lighting is gonna be, I already know it's gonna be bad. Look at me, where's the white balance? Non-existent. Sorry about that. Anyways, here is the well, not really long awaited. I'm a mess today, can you tell? This is the Miku Expo cosplay video, and like this intro, this project was completely chaotic from the start. It was an absolute nightmare, and I mean that in every single sense of the word. We're about to get into it, but just so you know, spoiler alert, it was actually tragic. If you take nothing else from this video today, at least take this one thing. Please take this as a massive PSA to avoid concrunching at all costs. If you got a project that you need to start, look me in the eyes right now. Go start it, because you will never have too much time, okay? Are we on the same page here? Don't do what I did. Now, for those that don't know, I did recently just go to the April 4th Vancouver show for Miku Expo 2024. I did a whole entire video about like all the drama and kind of like my experience surrounding that. This is mostly a cosplay focused video with like a little bit of a vloggy kind of thing at the end. But if you are interested in like the Miku Expo experience TM, I'm gonna be linking that video in the description down below. Please go ahead and go watch it. I'm really proud of it. Basically, the long and the short of it is that I wanted to make a cosplay to go to Miku Expo, and I procrastinated so long that I had 7 days to do it. 7 days, not even 7 full days, 7 days working at my full-time job. I had 2 weekend days, that's it. The other 5 days, go to work from 8 to 5, come home, Concrunch, shower maybe, and go to sleep. Like, it was, I cannot even begin to express to you the amount of stress I undertook to put this together. And when you see the end result, it's not bad. It's just not proportional to the blood, sweat, and tears that went into it, because I did it to myself. I will freely admit that I did this to myself, and so I have to make a video about it to tell you, please do not do this. Now, there are 2 things that are very important to know about me. One, I have been in such a creative rut that I haven't actually finished a project in like 3 years.
Excuse me. I need your help. You need to kill me.
And 2, I am a massive perfectionist, and I am extremely hard on myself when it comes to my own art. Aren't we all? Both of these things are already obstacles, but I did absolutely set myself up for failure from the start with this. If I had have done any basic project planning, I would have been able to figure out that my rusty skills combined with the 3-year dust layer on my sewing machine was only going to be a recipe for pain. To be fair to myself, I did purchase the fabric for this project 2 weeks before Miku Expo, but you know, life happened.
Well, when life gives you lemons.
I had 4 main criteria when I was trying to pick which outfit to make. Number 1, it had to be comfortable. Number 2, I definitely had to be able to modify it at least in some way for the early spring cold weather. I was not about to be out there in a miniskirt and nothing else, okay? I was not willing to freeze. 3, it couldn't be so intrusive that it would impact the experience of other concert goers. And 4, it had to be a module or an outfit that I felt a special connection to and felt passionate about. I jumped back and forth for a while, but I eventually settled on World is Mine. I could forego the garters to wear it with fleece-lined tights, I already had similar shoes, and I could make it in a comfortable fabric. World is Mine was my first introduction into Vocaloid, so although it might be basic, it is still very near and dear to my heart, and I was super excited to bring it to life. Obviously, the first step was to figure out how I was gonna construct this. I had not a lot of time and no pattern, and so I didn't patent it, but I did something that I am now referring to as the paper bag method. The only thing that was really important to get right in this first step was the neckline, because it was kind of the only thing that I couldn't like go back later and fix if I didn't do it right the first time. I actually ended up scrounging around for my old Yaya Han Sailor Scout pattern and used some of the pattern pieces to copy over this V-neck shape. After I'd cut these pieces, I sewed up the shoulders and basted the sides so I could try it on and do some pinning. Rather than fiddle around endlessly with math and try to draft a pattern that would actually fit my body, I basically just kind of ended up making a tube and I pinned it while it was on me so that it would fit exactly right the first time. And this was absolutely the move. Within like half a day, I had a really great base to work off of. And then it all goes downhill from there. The other main part I really wanted to get out of the way was the pleated underskirt. In the interest of saving time, I did reuse my old pleated skirt pattern as well. I wanted to try out a new technique with this, and so I ended up putting some horsehair braid in the hem on this skirt. It was such a good decision. The horsehair braid just gives it this like gravity-defying bounce, and it was really, really great in the end. In the end is the key part of that because literally nothing else about this went correctly. I burned an entire Saturday cutting fabric, arranging pleats just so, sewing all my seams, tucking every little piece of this together, only to stand back at the end of the day to assess my work and realize I hated it. Now listen, at this point, knowing that I'm leaving in literally 4 days, the right thing to do would have been to just suck it up and get it together. But A, I knew that this was going to haunt me the entire time I was wearing this cosplay and it was just gonna bother me to no end. And B, I actually couldn't even do that if I wanted to because I had f***ed up with the pattern in the first place. This pattern had originally been made for a non-stretch fabric and I knew this, but I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. So when I made it with like kind of a heavier weight stretch jersey, I was like, it'll be fine, right? Right? And it ended up being twice the size of my waist. This was not a simple fix like cutting up the side and adjusting the circumference. I couldn't do that because of the spacing on the pleats. And also, at this point, I couldn't be sure that cutting randomly wasn't gonna come back later to bite me in the ass. So, I did what any normal functioning person would do. I sat down, cried, and resigned myself to picking apart the entirety of the day's work. Now listen, this was not only a devastating blow because I had burned one of my only 2 full weekend days, but also because for some reason I couldn't find any of the 3 seam rippers I have. So I sat there for 3 hours and unpicked this stitch by stitch with tweezers. You would think that that would be enough struggle and strife for one project, right? Wrong. Throughout the course of the last couple of days, I had tried not 1, not 2, but 3 separate methods trying to get this neckline together, and I just, for whatever reason, could not figure it out. My first idea was to copy a concept from one of my actual work shirts that has a similar vibe. I tried to do this by cutting a shape kind of like this, and then in theory, I would get some beautiful drape. While this may have worked, ultimately, I think it was just a poor fabric choice and it just wasn't sitting the way I wanted. Idea number 2 was to take a strip of fabric and just do a simple gather. However, if I had a thought about this with more than 2 brain cells, which that's asking a lot, okay? There's not a lot going on. Well, I should not say that about myself. What I failed to realize if I had have used more than 2 brain cells was that this was gonna end up being way too bulky and ultimately I didn't like the way it sat either. Okay, it's fine. It's whatever. It's not a big deal, okay? We'll rip it up for the second time. All right, begrudgingly a little bit, but we'll rip it up a second time. And my third idea was to take that same fabric strip and pleat it. If I can control the pleat, there is therefore less bulk. And this was a great idea in theory, but honestly, I didn't even get the full way through sewing this on. I pinned it, stepped back and looked at it, and just immediately burst into sobs. At this point, I had wasted basically all of my only weekend, first on the skirt and then on this, and so I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling so defeated. I was tired, I was frustrated, I was feeling like nothing I was doing was right and I was terrible at this and I should just quit and wear a t-shirt. Or, better yet, just quit cosplay completely. Obviously, a completely dramatic train of thought, but that is legitimately where I was at the time. But, as it always does, the sun rose on Monday, and I, like a phoenix from the ashes, arose reborn. And I had an idea that would ostensibly save this project from certain doom. This lace trim honestly saved this costume. I nipped out to grab it on my lunch break and it was just such a good decision. Not only did it solve my neckline problem, it ended up being really cute on the bottom of the sleeves as well. I had found this really great tutorial for butterfly sleeves that I'm gonna link in the description down below, but at this point, so many things had gone wrong that I was just praying that this was gonna work out the first time. And it totally did! I am such a sucker for a good funky sleeve, and these just turned out so cute and fun. I'm literally obsessed with how they turned out. Entering day 6, I was seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and the only major part I had left to finish off this outfit was the bottom ruffle. I did at first try to do a double ruffle situation, but I ended up hating how it looked and opting to do a single gather instead. This was a pain in the ass to arrange, and honestly, it still looks a little iffy to me, but honestly, at this point, it was livable. All I had to do was slap a cute little black bow on it, and I was ready to rock and roll. There were a lot of ups and downs, but I had persevered, and I was feeling really good about it. Until day 7.
I'm back in the fucking building again!
I did not realize how massively I had fucked myself over throughout the week until it all accumulated in a hurricane of mass proportions the night before our very early flight. Firstly, because I had been spending every waking moment of the past week either working or sewing, I was not in any other way prepared for this trip. The laundry had piled up to an unmanageable amount. I had no clean socks. I had not packed a single thing. I had not even gotten my suitcase out of the basement. And I had postponed my everything shower so far that it was now literally an unskippable side quest. The girlies know how vital the everything shower is, especially before a trip. And of course, the final boss of this hellish project, the wig. Spoiler, it was held together with half a can of Got To Be and a dream because literally nothing about it went as planned either. Wig styling is absolutely my least favorite part. I am completely dog shit at it, and honestly, with the length of a Miku pigtail, I really just did not want to be dealing with that at a concert of all places. I had planned to try out a new technique and cover the pigtail clips with tulle, but it was a complete disaster. I had no time to troubleshoot it, and I just could not make it work. This is not me saying this hack doesn't work. It absolutely does. I am just inexperienced and did not give myself the resources. But nonetheless, I had a full-scale breakdown at 1 a.m. on my bedroom floor. I lost my freaking mind. At this moment, I had spent the last week grinding at work so I could go on holiday and then coming home and grinding on this build. So at this point, I was frustrated, overtired, stressed at 1 a.m. on my bedroom floor, literally questioning the meaning of life. And in a fit of rage, I hacked off half the length of the pigtails and decided it was gonna be what it was gonna be. I didn't end up having time to sort out the hair accessory situation, and to be honest, from the get-go, I wasn't really super stoked about the idea that a feather could block somebody's view, so I ended up tying some ribbon to a set of bobby pins and calling it a night. One WestJet flight and a hastily applied blue manicure later, I was dressed and ready to have the time of my life at Miku Expo.
You know what? This is a pretty nice hotel we got. We got a nice view over there. Got a nice king bed over here. Nice flat screen something TV. And over here we got the bathroom. Is that Hatsune Miku?
Yeah! I got a bracelet. We're living life, it's great. Wig a mess. Frizzy as all hell. But I never need to do anything else in life ever. What did you think?
I started working. No, it was great. I was I just wanted to see Ren, honestly.
You know what?
Ghost Rule and Ren, favorite.
Len.
Oh, is it Len?
Len with an L. They did Luca so dirty. They did Luca so dirty. She has so many good songs. Luca Night Fever. Karakuri Perio. What's the Just Be Friends? Come on. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just a fake Luca fan. I don't know. They did her so dirty.
I liked Miku.
Overall, would I do this again? Absolutely not. Come here. Come here, come here. Start your projects. Please, please start your projects. Do not do what I did. Don't put yourself through this. I'm not gonna say it wasn't worth it because I love how it turned out. In the end, I'm like, listen, could there be some things that I did better? Yes, but that's my perfectionism talking, okay? Start your freaking projects. Please think of me and start your projects. Oh, I am never doing this again. Listen to me. I am putting my 3 fingers up in my Girl Scout promise and I am telling you, I am looking you dead in the eyes right now. I am never doing this again. But ultimately, I did have a really, really good time in Vancouver and I really ended up liking how the cosplay turned out. I felt super duper cute day of. Honestly, I think my makeup turned out really bomb on this day, which helped as well. Obviously not at the end of the concert when I'd been like sweating and crying for like an hour and a half, but you know, it's relative. But that is the story of how I concrunched my Miku Expo cosplay in 7 days. Before I go, I would just like to give a big welcome to those of you that are new here. We did see a little bit of a growth spurt after my Miku Expo experience video. Welcome to those of you that are new. Thank you so much for interacting with that video in the way that you have. I would highly recommend going back to the comment section to read through it. You guys are saying some really, really insightful things and putting a lot of time and care into your comments, and I really appreciate seeing that. I want to make more of these types of cosplay videos. This was the first project I finished in like 3 years, so I am really hoping that this is gonna break the streak and I can start making some more content like this for you guys, because I want to get back into my creativity and my art, and I'm really, really excited about what I've got planned. I cannot make promises on when that's gonna be because I know myself and I know my work schedule and I know it's, you know, no promises, but the intention is there. But of course, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side.